I mean,
Uh,
I mean, we're starting on time, but we're late, but we're on time.
yeah, it's funny because I asked you guys all to be on time, and then because of my technical difficulties, we're late.
But we're on time because this is when we normally start.
That's
I'll never make this mistake again.
See the irony in all this?
oh my god.
You are listening to Trophy Horse with your hosts, Tricky Nick, Alex, I Yield to No One, Sid, and Ender Phoenix.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Trophy Wars. This is episode 693. I'm your host, Tricky Mick, alongside with me, the man, the myth. I'm annoying much because I'm having audio issues. It's Alex.
Hey man, I'm laid back. I'm taking it easy. Cheers to the Kentucky Wildcats football team who beat Auburn and encouraged them very strongly to fire their head coach. So, good job,
He
guys.
brings the awesome. It's I Yield to No One.
If this episode isn't called technical difficulties, I kind of will be disappointed.
And he's the man who likes playing with fire, although I'm playing with fire with his emotions right now because of my audio issues. It's Matt. Maybe not Matt.
Maybe
Matt, are you muted?
Maybe he's muted because he's mad.
Yeah, I guess that's a thing too.
How you doing, guys? Sorry I took the week off last week. You guys had a good show. Appreciate it.
I'm sure you were real sorry that you weren't here last week.
Well, I also have a correction because, I said that I'd be back after doing my extra live stream. Apparently, I got my weekends wrong. It's not this past weekend. It's next weekend. I don't know why, but normally they do it on Daylight Savings Time, and they didn't do that this year.
You're telling me you got the dates of Extra Life completely wrong? Like
well,
2 weeks?
to be fair, they don't really post the date on the website anymore. You have to go digging.
Well, you want to know why?
Why?
Because every weekend's Extra Life anymore.
I mean, I guess you could say that. But...
It is. I mean, honestly, I kid you not. It's why I don't get excited for it anymore.
Is it because are you talking about because all the gamers do their?
Because it's just before as it was getting started, and don't take me wrong by where I'm going with this because I fully support it. But before it was a 24-hour marathon. And it felt cool to do it that weekend. Now it feels like it's gone so corporate. And,
I agree.
And it's the only way that you can get any of the cool prizes is you have to stream and you have to have a big audience. And it's taking away, in my opinion, some of the luster of doing it when it's just not, it's this weekend or this month is when we focus on it, per se, where now you can stream all year long or you can do it all year long. And it just, I don't know, it doesn't do it for me like it used to.
Well, it has gotten corporate, but I will correct you on one thing. It's to get the prizes for, the person that's running their campaign, so to speak. You don't have to stream for it, but you do have to, they randomize this thing like if you want this perk, you have to raise $100 in this month or in this 2-week process or whatever the case may be. And a lot of the things that I wanted, like I wanted the Extra Life rug. You had to raise like $2,000 in like 3 weeks. And I was like, most people don't get $2,000 over the course of a year. You want them to get it in 2 weeks to get a rug? And I know how this is going to come off, and I don't mean it this way, but I'm like, where's the loyalty to the people that's been to this from the start? Like, the people now that are running Extra Life, it's gotten too corporate. Like, they changed the logo, But they only changed it slightly just so they didn't have to pay the guy to use the logo anymore. Meanwhile, he didn't want to get paid for the logo. He was like, "Here, do your thing." But they changed it so they couldn't be facing a lawsuit later down the road. I was like, but I still do it personally because the money does go to my local hospitals. I appreciate that, and I will always support that issue. But yeah, so I am doing it this weekend. I'm gonna do 25 hours because I still feel like, you know, the just because I'm not doing it on daylight savings.
Well, that was the other cool thing about doing a daylight savings weekend.
Yeah, I always felt like $25, and again, I'm not saying anything. I always thought $25 was like a fair donation, and I thought it was cool. Like, I'm doing 25 hours, you donate $1 an hour. There's the $25.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but that's me. So I am doing it this weekend. You guys should all gotten the Facebook invite. If you have not gotten it, I will be sure to give out all the information at the end of the show if I remember, because most likely I'm gonna forget. But other than that, gentlemen, I think we're good. Yeah. So how the hell are you guys? Did you guys miss me last week?
Well, we had a short show, so
An hour and a half.
yeah, that's good.
I would say that's efficient.
That's efficient.
I
Matt,
like
how
that,
the hell
Matt.
are you? You must be riding high with the Devils winning what 7-8 games in a row.
Tricky, I've been so focused on not hockey that I didn't even know that was a thing right now.
Really?
The amount of stuff going on right now is just mind-numbing.
All right. Well, I mean, the Rangers did win 3 in a row, so they're getting back to the right track. So still in the bottom of the standings though. So we'll have to figure that out. Yeah, it's not good. All right. So let's get into our trophy counts. I am
Alex,
level 900.
how have you been?
Nobody cares about Alex.
I do.
I've been all right, Yield.
Okay.
Been all right.
All right. Well, I'm glad you're doing okay.
Yielded all honesty. When I go to him to what's it playing, he goes on for like 20 minutes, so I just figured he'll wrap it up in there.
All right.
Well, not this week when I'm editing. I'll try to keep it short.
I am level 972, total trophies of 34,997, with a plat count of 1,001. Alex.
Level 526, total trophy count of 10,906, platinum count of 199 in 198 games.
Oh, he's almost at 200.
Yeah, but that's the thing is, like, because I do the 199 in 198 games, do I have to get to 201 before it's officially 200?
Oh, well, still, you're almost there, though.
Yeah, I mean, I'll get there this year.
You know what you should do,
You don't think you'll
Alex?
get 2 more platinums by the end of the year? I think you'll do
No,
that.
I will, because I've still got a Spyro game. I've got 2 Spyro games and then also Carrion, so none of those are super long or super difficult. So,
You know what else you should do?
what?
You should get a platinum, whatever game it is, for the PS5 for your 200th officially, and then get the same one on the PS4 for your 201. So this way they're both the same game.
I mean, I guess I could do that, but
then
I've played some games this. There's a lot of games that come out that I've gotten this year that are both PS4 and PS5. I just played one version, so I could do that, but there's only one game I've ever played twice in 1 year for a platinum trophy. Played through one game twice in a year, and that was Weird West. And I just, other than that game, I really haven't had the desire to play anything multiple times in 1 year because that game was good.
You should get Ghost of Yote.
I told you, man, that's a New Year thing. I'm not worried about that. Doing stuff around the house, I'm not worrying about Ghost of Yote until next year. That's a next year thing. That's next year's problems.
Well, I'm starting Ghost of Yote officially on Extra Life, so I was a little upset that I had to wait an extra week to play it, but when we get to what we're playing, we'll get into it. Yield your trophy, sir.
Hold on here. Okay. Newly minted 537 with the trophy count of 11,509 and a newly platted game at level 220, or not level, but a newly platted game for a total of 222.
And Matt?
Level 222 with 1,352 trophies and 0 plats.
All right, and Sid is level 899, total trophies of 27,654 with 862 platinums. We do not have a Sophie's Trophies this week because there was a little confusion because Sid sent me the audio last week. He didn't know that I sent it to you guys for you guys to plug it into the show, so he didn't record this week thinking he was going to that audio was going to be played this week. So he's going to come back next week with 2 weeks. That's just miscommunication between me and the man across the pond, so we'll figure that out. Rarity updates. Yield, do you have a rarity update for us?
I do. Would you like me to read it?
Well, that's kind of like the segue that I put into you.
Oh, is that your segue?
That was my segue.
Oh,
it was smooth.
Okay.
It was smooth.
Is that what you, Alex? Is that what we would call a smooth segue?
I think Cosmo disagrees. Cosmo says no.
Okay.
He says,
all right.
"Wow,
Yeah,
wow, yeah. How can anyone think that's a smooth segue?"
Yeah, okay.
Well, I mean, if everybody's taking an opinion of a cat, there's a problem.
Hey, I take Cosmo's opinion. You got a name like Cosmo.
Tricky, are we going to take your opinion over a cat? I don't think so.
Hey, here we go.
Cats are the devil.
Well, they have won 7 or 8 in a row.
That's what the devil would say, trying to divert attention to something else. Some poor innocent soul.
The top
Yield.
2 of Division 1 went blow for blow this week, scoring near identical points. I was doing a dramatic pause. Pee-wee with 101 and Nitro with 99, meaning the top 2 moved to 1722 and 1328 points respectfully. 3rd, 4th, and 5th all scored very well too. Myself closed the gap on Nitro by scoring 172 points, keeping myself 3rd on 1,246. Psychiatrist hit 136 points, meaning he moves up to 4th with 1187. Also moving up a place is Edge, who top scored the week with 259, pushing him to 1137. Redbeard Rick dropped down from 4th to 6th, following a 6-point week. Meets Goats a Lot and Crook exchanged places further down the table, with the former moving to 9th and Crook to 10th. The bottom 5 are all cut off from the rest by over 100 points now, so it looks like the regulation will be 3 from this 5. CJ and California Wayne currently occupy the spots outside of the Kenny Loggins on 578 and 531. Mr. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle 84 is at 519, thanks to one of the best scores of the season, 76. Waterfields 1, fresh from winning a plat of the month. Boo. I personally feel everybody voted for their favorite game, not the hardest game, but that's neither here nor there. Winning plat of the month with BioShock Infinite only had 10 legacy points, taking him to 398. Tricky had one of his best point tallies this season, scoring 48 points. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Helping him close the gap on Waterfields again as he moves onto 294. You really better pour it on these last 2 months, sir.
Oh, I plan on it.
Okay. Now on to Division 2. Eifert Hellfire hit the best score of Division 2, scoring 273. Another 20 ultra-rare trophies this week, giving him 42 for the season overall. He now sits at 1,032 points at the top. Rolling on the floor, laughing out loud, Z stays second, thanks to his 86 points, taking him to 817. X-Nightmare 317 earned himself 15 legacy points and moved to 428 in the final promotion spot. Dupes 25 is now just 14 points off the promotion spot as he moves up to 4th from 5th with his 88 points this week. Murray 2011 drops 1 to 5th on 385. There was a bit of movement in the middle of the table. Alex climbed for the 3rd consecutive week up to 7th, scoring 59 points, moving him to 334. Go get him, Alex.
Wait a minute, do I have more points than Tricky?
wait, so you're at 334 and Tricky's at, yes, he's at 294. So even in the lower division, you have more points than Tricky.
Take that, Tricky Mick.
Too bad you didn't do that when you were still in Division 1 and got demoted.
He overtook.
I'll get back. It's happened once before. I'll get back there.
He's got 2 months. You might get demoted. You might get demoted back down with Alex if Alex doesn't run the table, which he's been known to do. He overtook the Big Don, who drops to 8th on 302. The Brain 76 rises 2 places to 9th from 11th, leapfrogging both Dodge Williams and Resident Daryl, who dropped to 10th and 11th respectively on 261 points, and trail the Brain by 2 points. The only other movement in the division came at the bottom, with Stink Palm's legacy trophies working for him to score 11 points and leapfrog Jeremy into 16th on 86. The rarest trophies of the week, rolling on the floor laughing out loud, Z got NavDML in Resogun at 2.77%. Pee-wee got Wanted in GTA 4 at 2.33%. Ifrit Hellfire 90 got Paparazzi and Tentacular at a 2.14%. I came in second with Determined from Adrift at 2.13%. And first this week was Edge in The Doctor Is In from Call of Duty Black Ops 4 with 1.02%. And that is your rarity update for this week.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you for Gareth for putting that together. All right, let's get into what we're playing. Matt, we'll start with you. What have you been playing, sir? Other than home seeking.
Indeed, and I've been playing that quite a bit. So therefore, not a whole lot. A little bit of Borderlands 4, but not too much there. Hold on, let me go to my Steam list. More Pokemon Legends ZA. I finally got my Charizard, so I'm happy there. A little bit of Silent Hill F. Another run in Hades. More of Ball Pit. And another game that came out called No, I'm Not Human. That is kind of like a story-driven game where you wake up in your house and the news reports the sun is basically going nova during the daytime, meaning don't be caught outside, otherwise you will burn up. And when you decide to just sleep it off, you also get reported that there's these things called visitors that are coming up out of the ground. So people come to your house and be like, yo, I need to make sure I'm not alone, otherwise the visitors will get me. But the visitors can look human. And as you play the game, you determine certain features of people that can help you determine whether they're visitors or not. And you're given a gun and you have to determine if the people in your house need to be shot. So it's kind of like a deductive reasoning type game. And there's a lot of features to it. It's very stylized art. And it's pretty neat and spooky. It was perfectly timed for spooky season. But the main game I've been playing nonstop since Friday is Arc Raiders. This is the newest extraction shooter that's out there. You drop into a zone and you scavenge. You find things that help you upgrade your weapons, your workshop, complete missions for the NPCs. And it's known as a PvPvE, so it's player versus environment. Meaning you're not the only one dropping into zones, and it has, proximity chat. So if you're suddenly within proximity of another player, you can call out and be like, yo, I'm friendly, or give me all your stuff. And, you can kill other players can kill you, you can loot each other. Meanwhile, you're still dealing with the environment, which are robots known as arcs that you have to avoid or shoot and scavenge from them. And you complete your goals, you extract, hopefully, but while you're extracting, people could ambush you. It plays up to 3 players in a party, so it's a lot of fun. It's peaked significantly with over 300,000 players on Steam. Just today, they were so popular, they had to implement a queue system, kind of like, I guess, learning lessons from Helldivers. And it's a lot of fun. It was only $40. There is some monetization for cosmetics inside the game, but you don't have to feel obligated to do that. And it's just been really cool just going into the world, exploring it, getting in, grabbing stuff, and getting out.
Yeah, I played the alpha and the beta for that. And then when it came out, I just didn't buy it.
I would figure it's right up your alley because it's a third-person shooter with guns.
I love it. I get very much Division feels from it. But I just for some reason I have not purchased it yet, and I mean it is on the list. I just haven't bought it yet.
Well, it is crossplay, so if you ever do get it, we can absolutely team up.
Absolutely. All right, is that it?
That's it.
all you've been playing. Um, Alice, we'll go to you next, sir.
So I finished out the Haunted Hallows in Rocket League. It's hard to think about time elapsing so much and so fast that we're already through another Haunted Hallows. But finished that out. Picked up some classic Halloween items for my cars on the cheap, so I'm glad they were putting that stuff in the shop. And it was nice to see some stuff from the first few seasons of Rocket League. And by first few seasons, I mean the first few years. So glad I could pick some of that up because I had some extra credits to play with. Mostly, though, I got the Platinum Trophy in Spyro the Dragon, and I'm currently playing Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage. And, I don't know. I can't decide if I like the first one or the second one better. One of my kind of aggravations with the first game, which overall I enjoyed. I thought the gameplay held up pretty well, and it looked really good. And, I like running around saving dragons, but the jumping, the platforming. Ashley also started to play it, and she had to go online because she thought that in some sections you needed a double jump, and she was looking to how to do it. The first game you can't double jump. You basically just have to jump, and then you can glide, and you have to hit your glide at the height of your jump to be able to make some of the jumps. You have to find specific places and ledges to jump off of to get to certain areas. So the jumping, even knowing that, like sometimes the jumping felt a little off, like it was a little too precision for a game like this. The game itself isn't hard, but the jumping sometimes got in the way of your enjoyment because you would just fall short. It's like, how the fuck? This is not a hard mechanic. How am I falling short? In the second game, they implemented a glide, which essentially is you hit X to jump, and at the peak of your jump, you hit X again to glide, and at the end of your glide, you can hit triangle to do like almost like another jump. It says glide it's like hover, I think as they call it. It's basically like another jump, but it's going from like you press X twice, hold X, and then you press triangle again. It's a little weird way to do a double jump, but at least it's something based on, I guess, how they felt about the first game and iteration and trying to actually give you a better system to jump into platform with. So, like I said, a little awkward with it hitting X twice and then triangle, but it's better than the first game. Oh, and in the first game, you're saving all these dragons, and some of them are like gigantic and muscular. Like the last one you save is Magnus, and it's just like, motherfuckers, none of you can stop what you're doing to go help me take down all these nasty Nork and his hordes. Like, it's just this one little purple dragon going off on his own, and none of these other dragons, there's 80 of them in the game, and none of them will help you. That's a little, I mean, I get it. I understand why. It's all part of the story. And they're just a collectible, essentially. But it's a little annoying. Because it's like, I'm tiny, they're giant. Come on, throw me a bone here. Help me out. But yeah, the second game, I mean, the gameplay, it's a little bit different, but overall, it's Spyro. I'll say the same thing. Game looks good. Gameplay holds up really well. So, yeah, I'm just making my way through the game. I'd say I'm about a third of the way through, maybe a little more for Spyro 2. And then, yeah, it'll be on to... I may want to break before I tackle Spyro 3. Playing all three of them in a succession is going to be maybe a little much. Give me a little palate cleanser there in the middle, maybe. Figure that out. Probably carrying, but yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed the Spyro series before so far. Still would say I'm probably more of a fan of Crash. I just like the way those games are presented and the way everything unfolds, the characters, the humor, and just really the gameplay, like the especially as the game goes on, like you go into a warp room and there's levels and you go into the levels and you go I don't know. I just like the way Crash unfolds better than the way that they built Spyro. But Spyro's still very good, and I can see why it's a fan favorite of a lot of people who played on the original PlayStation. So, but yeah, pretty much just playing Spyro.
All right, and I don't know about what I did last time I was on the show, but I went back and got all the DLC trophies in both the Spider-Man games for the 4 and the 5. So now I just got to go back and beat the game on Ultimate Difficulty on 2 of them. And I think I'm done getting all those trophies. Little Snake Eater Delta. Didn't play much of that. So Last of Us Part 2 Remastered, got back into that because apparently I never played the remastered version. Didn't know that. And then I got heavily back into Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. I brought my PlayStation 5 with me on vacation, and I was sitting in the hotel room, and it was on my dashboard, and I started playing it, and yeah, I went through the entire game, started getting all the DLC trophies. I'm just gonna say fuck those DLC trophies, because some of them.
Good luck with that final boss.
I beat all the bosses already.
In the DLC too?
Yeah, the
Okay.
the only 2 trophies I got left in the DLC is find all the memory fragments and collect all the amulets. That's it.
Yeah, I feel like that boss for the DLC was harder than the ones from the original game. Maybe it's just me, but I thought that boss was, because you had to counter parry in order to win. I thought that made it a little bit more difficult than the other ones. But maybe, I don't know if you felt the same way.
I blew right through it. Had no problem.
All right, well.
And then for the last 2 or 3 days, I've been playing Arkham Knight again. Trying to get through that game. The new game plus, and I'm gonna get those DLC trophies. But I want to get through the game first. The hardest thing about that game is going to be the challenges and collecting all the freaking Riddler trophies again. But I'll do it. Not a big deal. And if you notice, I didn't say one time I played The Division. Didn't play The Division at all this week. Which I got to play tomorrow because I got to catch up on all the Halloween events. So, I got to remember to do that. Other than that, that's all I've been playing. And, yeah, I mean, I feel like I played more because I've played a variety of games. But according to PSN profiles, that's all I played. I mean, I played 2 spam trophies to get the bonus points, but when I talk about those.
What, the Monkey Paw? You don't want to talk about the Monkey Paw game you played?
It's the Monkey P and the Penguin P. Get it right.
I could have sworn I saw the Monkey Paw. Which is, if you watch The Simpsons, well, I guess it's more than just a Simpsons reference, but fits in just in time for October.
Well, it does say the Monkey P, so maybe you just saw the AW extra. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. All right, Matt, this is where I throw it over to you, sir.
It is. Nobody cares what I've been playing.
I thought I went to you first.
No, you went to me first.
Yield, I am so sorry. What have you been playing, sir?
So I spent a lot of the week playing Helldivers 2 because with Prepare to Die or Scum and the Brain 76 because the Brain wanted to get the rest of his super samples to finish out his ship upgrades. And so I was maxed out on metals, but so I had no problem helping him out. F, the Dragon Roach. I have to say, we finally ran across one of those, and they can go burn. But
wait till you fight 2 at once, Yield.
Oh,
There's the real fun.
We were fighting 2 or 3, so that sucks. So we did a lot of that, and then by doing that, I was able to get enough super credits that I was finally able to buy into the Halo War Bond, which is the last War Bond that I have to complete. And so I was able to dump all of my medals into that, and so now I can start earning medals again. So that was fun. That was nice. And we had some fun games. Played a little bit of Dust and Neon. Went back to that. Advanced that game a little bit. Picked up a game on the last sale called Neo Sprint, which I think I talked about the last week about it. So it's kind of like a, if you remember, Super Sprint from the NES. Played a little bit of that, trying to advance that. I've gotten pretty much all the normal trophies. Now it's down to just grinding out miles and time trials, which some of those, that's going to be a headache. Went back to a game that I had started like 6 years ago and never stopped playing for some reason. And then I tried to pick it back up and forgot what I was doing, so I started all over. Which is Adrift. Went back, knocked it out, then went back and had to play through it a second time to get a couple trophies that I missed, or you couldn't get when you're looking for everything. So I got that game done, 100%ed it, and then went to another game called Projection First Light, and knocked it out, which that happened to be my, which was my plat this week, and also my plat for November. So now all I gotta do is get one more, and I've platted a game every month for the year, so that's kind of cool.
Do a spam. Do a spam trophy.
I ain't doing no spam. You know better than that.
Do a spam.
But that Projection game wasn't bad. It's kind of a light and shadow puzzle / platforming game. So that was fun. I did dabble in a little bit of Overcooked just to see if I could advance the story on my own before the guys came over and we tried to keep pushing through it in co-op, but I'm to the point where you kind of have to have a co-op partner because I don't think I can do it on my own. I haven't tried to switch back and forth, but there's enough confusion as it is to try to switch between two characters. Other than that,
yeah, there's too much on your plate there to have to be able to do it as one. I mean, maybe somebody can, but you got to think fast, and your reactions have to be like real
faster.
Sharp. And I think for most people, it's just too much to ask for them to do all those things and have their brains switch like you're switching train tracks just that quickly.
Yeah. So I gave it a whirl. I got 2 stars instead of 3, and I was just like, okay, this is too much for me. We'll just wait and do it with the group. So, but that's it. That's pretty much all I've played this week. I think I'm going to dive into West of Dead next as my next game I tackle.
All right. All right. It's safe to throw it over to Matt now, right? I got
Yes.
everybody.
Yes, you've gotten everybody now.
Matt, show's yours, buddy.
News time, and being this is first show of the month, we're going to cover the PlayStation Plus monthly games, including games that Tricky definitely won't touch, I definitely won't touch, and maybe Alex might touch a little. But the first up is the game Stray, where you get to play as a cat with a robot attached to your back, trying to get back to your lost family. Then there is EA Sports World Rally Championship 24 for the PS5. And then finally, there is Totally Accurate Battle Simulator. Have you ever wondered who would win in a battle of 100 Balrogs versus 1,000 Gandalfs?
All the fucking time.
Well, in Totally Accurate Battle Simulator, you could run various simulations. Like, how many Venoms would it take to defeat an army of 10,000 knights? I've played Totally Accurate Battle Simulator before. It's a fun what if type of scenario. World Rally Championship is a racing game, and Tricky won't touch Stray because it is a cat game. But Tricky, what are any of these up your alley besides Stray?
So I'm just gonna go because I've actually played Stray.
You don't deserve to play Stray.
I don't deserve to play Stray. Why? Because cats are the devil's spawn.
Because you think cats are the devil's spawn, and you should really, understand they are here to cuddle us and give us warmth.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go there. I'm gonna play Stray. glad we're getting it back. Because I saw people complaining about this, like, oh, we've gotten Stray before. No, we didn't. It was released as a day-on-date game when the game came out, but it was never actually officially part of PlayStation Plus. So
It was
glad
no,
we're
it
getting
was
back.
on Extra. It was day and date on Extra. It was never a free monthly game though.
Yeah, I'm sorry, that's what I meant. It was never a free monthly game. But yeah, I'm glad we're gonna get it back. So because I was locked out of it, I never bought it. So I'm glad we're getting it back. I don't really get into the rally cars, so I don't know if I'm gonna play that. And tabs just doesn't look appealing to me at all, so I think I'm gonna skip on that. I didn't play any of the last month's games because Alan Wake's trash. Ghost Simulators, I just didn't get to it. And Cocoon actually looked pretty interesting. So
You don't have to shit on Alan Wake to keep up your bit. You can admit that it's a decent at least game.
I'm not. It's not a bit. It's a horrible.
When you say it's trash, no one believes you because it's not trash. That's just a ridiculous statement.
Oh, people know it's trash.
You can give up the bit, Tricky. You can absolutely give up the bit.
It's not a bit.
Alex,
I'm Tricky Mick, and I support.
Are you doing
message.
any of these games?
Stray. As much as I love cats, I don't know, and it's not even really like the speedrun trophy. For some reason, I just really never wanted to play that game. Ashley really enjoyed it. She beat it, and she, starts a lot of games and doesn't finish them. It's one of the ones she actually finished, and she swears by it. I mean, I get it. It never, I can't even explain it. I don't know. I just never really wanted to play as a cat running around the city. The whole idea of it just never appealed to me. Totally accurate battle simulator. I don't know how all that works, but it's almost like I would rather just go to a website, enter things in like Subway sandwiches versus fried chicken or some shit like that, an army of these things, and who win. I don't know. I don't really want to download a game, sit there and play a game based on that. I would rather watch it happen. Like go to YouTube and see, oh yeah, these 1,000 Megatrons are fighting 1,000 Optimus Primes. Let's see how this unfolds. So not really my what I would think should be a game, but again, I don't know how the game entirely unfolds, so maybe I'm completely wrong on that. But yeah, none of these games really are for me. But I do think I will say, if you haven't had a chance to play Stray, I mean, it seems like a good month. I will say that. I will defend them on that. It seems like unique games, but also at least one big headliner there. So really, these days, it's the best you can hope for, because as soon as they unlocked the other tiers, extra and premium years ago, they could have easily made the monthly games just be complete garbage. And I think that's one of the things that befell Xbox when they started when their monthly free games went down in quality. But credit to Sony, I think they've done a good job of keeping them pretty respectable as things go.
I thought you bought Stray because I remember having a conversation with you where you said like the game locked after a certain time, and you said you were going to buy it because Ashley really liked it.
I mean,
So
I guess maybe
I thought you
Ashley
bought
had
it.
finished it, and we didn't need to buy it. But no, I never bought it
Oh, I could have sworn you said you bought it.
because she got through it pretty quickly. I mean, before it would have been locked out of Extra or locked out of PlayStation Plus.
All right.
Okay. Yield, rounding you out.
I'll take a look at Stray because it looks interesting. We'll probably at least check out the rally game. I'm kind of hit or miss on those, but I'll at least watch the trailer, think about it. And I doubt I touched the third game. So I think that it's going to be a good month for me because I'll pick up Stray, and like I said, I'll look at the rally. But so yeah, I don't think it's a hateful month leading into December where we kind of normally go kind of blah.
Yield, I meant to ask you. Did you happen to take a look at NASCAR 25?
I have not. I've seen some of the stuff for it, and although the racers are salivating over it, what trailers I saw have not impressed me, and since it's launched, they haven't really pushed it any. So I haven't really picked up on it. The crashes still look like most crashes in a NASCAR game where it's not real, which is disappointing because it's iRacing. I thought it would be a little more realistic, and it just, I don't know, the graphics didn't even look like it was current gen. It looked like it was a couple of generations ago. That kind of disappointed me, being iRacing. But from a simulation standpoint, I guess it sounds like it's really good. But
It's getting right now. It's on average of a 73 on Metacritic.
so until I get, I'm enjoying more of my Wreckfest and stuff like that. Oh, speaking of Wreckfest, a game launched on the 28th called Recreation, which was released by THQ Nordic and made by Three Fields Entertainment. And I haven't picked it up yet, but I've been keeping an eye on it. But the Brain76 picked it up. And he has told me that this is, it's going to sound bad, but it's not, that this is Burnout on a budget. That a lot of the developers who worked on this worked on Burnout games. And so this is, if you are looking for a Burnout or a Burnout Paradise type game, go check it out. It's only $40, and I'm going to go pick it up. I was looking at the trophy list, and it's like Burnout Paradise 2.0 if you're reading the trophy list. So, just a heads up for everybody who enjoyed that game.
Alrighty. And you guys, well, at least Alex and you'll remember how last week we reported on Remedy's CEO stepping down effective immediately. Well, came out, Remedy is disappointed with the quarterly results, having lost 16 million euros, being reported by GameWorldObserver.com, written by Admin. There you go. Quality article. The company reported quarterly revenue of 12.15 million euros, which is 32% lower than the previous year. Almost half the revenue, 6.04 million euros, was generated from the sale of Remedy games. So the remaining 6.11 million euros came from development fees for Control 2 and the remake of Max Payne 1 and 2. So basically, Remedy attributed the losses to the failure of FBC Firebreak. I don't know. Do you guys think that maybe this had a very large deal as to why that CEO was stepping down effective immediately? Alex?
Very coincidental. I mean, this happens and then the CEO steps down, or these kind of happen kind of in close temporal proximity to each other. I mean, one can put the pieces together. You don't have to be a genius or a Mensa member to do that. I would say it's part of the, especially since it was like immediate, right? It wasn't like, oh, this person can finish out this amount of time. No, it's like this person's stepping down, right?
Yeah.
If it's not the case, it certainly smells like there's fire there.
Yeah, I don't know. Tricky, anything else you can add to that? Because I know you weren't here the last week when we discussed it, but given that, is it surprising?
I realize this is going to come off a little insensitive, but it doesn't seem like they lost that much money to fire the CEO over. We're only talking about 16 million euros, which translates into $18.4 million.
Oh God,
I understand.
Pocket change.
I listen. I just said that sounds a little weird, but that's not a lot of money to like go nuclear with it. I don't know if I contribute one to the other. I mean, it's bad that they lost that money, yes, but I don't think that led to the CEO being fired or being let go or anything like that.
Certainly a take. Yield, you have a different take?
No, I think I kind of said it last week. Your games don't perform. You're going to go. Maybe this was one of those, the abrupt left. We don't know, but maybe it was one of those you can leave or you're fired, and so that was the abrupt leaving. I don't know.
Well, I think this is interesting because we talk about this all the time, that when games fail, who are generally the ones that get punished? Some developers, quality assurance testers, things like that. Here, it seems, at least on the surface, that the man in charge is being held accountable to his development process. And the article says Remedy has 390-ish people working for it. So small in the grand scheme of things, but the CEO stepping down immediately, it's going to have a ripple effect throughout the rest of the company. I just thought it was an interesting article to bring up given our conversation last week. Next article, YouTube is strengthening the approach to online gambling and graphic violence in games, coming from Papa Google, saying that there was an email sent out to creators saying that starting on November 17th, 2025, they'll be strengthening the enforcement of their community guidelines. Here's the summary of what's changing. Online gambling content, and the current policy prohibits content that directs viewers to online gambling sites or applications that are not certified by Google. So you could do it, but they have to be certified by Google. They got to get their cut, right? Social casino content. We're updating our approach to casino style games where nothing of real world monetary value is wagered or cashed out. Graphic gaming content. In addition to their existing guidelines, they will age restrict an additional small subset of video game content featuring realistic human characters that focus on scenes of torture or scenes of mass violence against non-combatants. They'll consider a couple different factors, including duration, prominence, and realistic human characters. So what does that mean for their content? Existing videos, content uploaded before November 17th, 2025 that violates these guidelines may be removed or age restricted. I like how they use the term violates these guidelines because, when you change the terms, suddenly now you're violating things. The videos can stay on channels for 18 plus audiences. So creators have to make sure that their age restriction is in the correct place. And they can make edits for creators who have content in scope. You may be able to edit your videos using a trim or a blur. And then notification, if we age restrict, remove your content, they'll notify the creators. So here we are, Papa Google determining what is appropriate, what is not for people to review. I don't know. Tricky, how do you feel about this, given that you are our prominent content creator?
I, when it comes to the online gambling, I, I, I'm kind of a split mind because, in a way, I believe that if you're gambling online, then you shouldn't be advertising it. Like, there's some people that go on and like they play that blackjack, the live blackjack with the live dealers and stuff like that. I always found that weird. As far as the gaming content, this is where I feel like YouTube is going a little too strong with this because a lot of games nowadays they consist of violence. Now, if you use a game like The Division, or you use a game like The Last of Us, or even Helldivers, like, are they gonna copyright strike you, Matt? If you're fighting, um, I just forgot the androids' names. What's it?
Well, of course you did, because you never fight for Super Earth. It's the automatons.
And
Automatons.
to answer your question, Ricky, no, they won't copyright strike me because they're not copyright striking. They will demonetize and delist your videos.
Okay. I used the wrong word, but like if you're fighting them and all of a sudden your teammate walks in front of you and all of a sudden your teammate gets caught on fire, that wasn't your intention. Well, maybe it is for you, but that wasn't your intention. Like, are they now gonna give you demonetize your video because this was a funny game moment where somebody walked in front of your flame as you were trying to take down? It's a fine line with this stuff because I'm a firm believer in intent is important. And if you're putting on a video of you just running around setting everybody on fire, yeah, that can get taken down. But if it's a funny moment where your teammate just happened to walk in front of you and at the wrong time, or you know, you take like Alex was taking a shot and just happened to catch you in the head with a headshot. Like, are they now going to turn around and say, "Oh, this is too much. We got to take this video down"? Like,
Well, I guess the question being is they just use the term graphic violence. Who determines what is truly graphic or not?
well, and that's the problem is because it's all under opinion. It's what's graphic violence to me is not graphic violence to Alex or Yield or you. You know, you know, can you guys like watching horror movies? I don't. So I mean, you sit there and you watch the it or like uh Joe Priestley loves to Scream movies. Like I don't watch those movies, but Joe would say no, that's not graphic violence. But I would say, well, this is a little over the top. Or if you're watch Saw or whatever horror movie. It's like the problem is that whoever's behind that button is not going off of a guideline, in my opinion. I feel they're going off their personal opinion. Yes, this crossed the line. No, this didn't cross the line. It says graphic violence in the article, but what is YouTube? What's their guideline for graphic violence? And as long as that's up in the air, you're always going to have the problem of did this person make the right choice? And I mean, even in the article, it says if they age restrict or remove your content, you can appeal. Well, again, who are you appealing to? Are you appealing to the person that denied you? Are you appealing to somebody else? There's so much of a gray area with this, and it's not really defined that I see problems with this going forward.
Yield, as our resident non-content creator, how do you feel about this?
Well, since we do a podcast, aren't all of us content creators? We're the OG content creators for all these YouTubers.
Right. Personally, I feel people are just getting soft. I understand that you have to protect things. You've got kids, and so they're looking out for them. You've got people who will sue at the drop of a hat because, again, people are soft. And so I don't agree with it, and I can't probably put the words why I don't agree with it. I don't. If you're going to be that way, then just age restrict everything on the internet. You have to be over 18 because it's getting ridiculous. And then they come out and say, well, everything that was posted before this, we could restrict that. Well, so you're going to, again, you're going to let a robot do all that stuff. So it just annoys me.
And then it's interesting because you talk about age restricting everything. Well, over in the UK, new laws came into place for content like adult sites or even Discord, where you have to now upload a copy of your driver's license to prove your age. Well, and then Discord had a breach.
I was gonna say that's just great because on top of the fact that you have to give your social security number for everything, and they want you to do everything online. Sure, give them your license number as well, and then you're totally screwed for identity theft. Good job.
I remember them when that first came out. People were bypassing it by using Norman Reedus from Death Stranding 2 as a picture, and it was getting past the age restrictions.
That is accurate. Alex, go over to you for this.
Well, censorship is always a fine line to walk because, like Tricky said, sometimes people can be a little heavy-handed with the censorship. And I was thinking, Tricky had mentioned Helldivers, and Matt accidentally torching his team members alive. I mean, I was thinking, it's not that graphic, and then I remembered that sometimes you can get blown up, and all of your appendages can fly off into the distance, and only your torso can be laying there on the ground. So, but at the same time, I don't think that's something that's going to be seen. I would hope that something that is seen as a video game where, alien creatures are doing this to you. It's not another human being. It's not a friend of yours. It's not a PvP game. Like, that kind of stuff can happen, but it's the enemy doing it. It's not like another human counterpart. It's enemy aliens. So, but yeah, I don't know. It's not a great thing to hear, but without any kind of like high profile examples of something that they had taken down, or because you're like, yeah, you can appeal, but who the fuck wants to go through that process? You know, who wants to deal with that? There's enough to deal with in life, and I gotta sit here and appeal this shit. So, I mean,
And YouTube's appeal process is bullshit anyway.
well, and how many people are going to be appealing, and how clogged up is that? I mean, how many people do they have hired to deal with appeals like this?
Every week I upload the Twitch stream to YouTube, and every week we get a content strike on it because of our intro and outro songs. Even though I have written permission to use it, I have it in a contract that we're allowed to use it. YouTube strikes me every single week because some third-party company is claiming ownership over it that's not even associated with the band or the publisher or the music label or anything. And I've gone to YouTube many times and said, listen, this is my document. This is signed by the band and the recording company. And they're like, nope, this third company is saying they have rights to it, but they've given no paperwork to prove that they own it. So YouTube's appeal process is bullshit. And I don't know if you guys remember, but this is, before Matt joined us. But back when you guys were doing Rocket League Thursdays,
I don't like to think of Trophy
guys...
Horse before Matt joined. It's a dark time.
Remember when you guys were doing Rocket League Thursdays, and I had you guys streaming to get clips so I can post it on social media? There was a clip that got taken down because the brain said Pornhub, and the entire clip was taken down.
We've said far worse than that.
Well, that's my point. Is like we were talking about something, and the word Pornhub wasn't even like saying, "Hey, go to Pornhub." It wasn't like, "Oh, I watched this," or blah blah blah. He just said that word, and that word flagged us. But all the other things that were said, like that, all went through. So, like, who's doing the censorship?
Computers,
and that's the problem. I'm sorry.
No,
I cut Alex off.
AI.
Matt, how do you feel about this?
No, I've already said it multiple times in the past that I think we as a country have weird ass backwards morals when it comes to allowing certain things but admonishing others, including things related to sex or naughty language or violence. It's kind of like we thrive on violence, which is not natural, or I should say not. How do I put this? Even though violence is kind of prone to nature, it's not something we strive for as a human society. We avoid it where we can, we implement it where we must. But then you have a freak out about people seeing sex or nudity or things like that in a public setting. There's people out there who freak out about women breastfeeding in public. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Come on. So my issue is for them to implement a new policy saying, well, now we're going to implement this based off of graphic violence. Again, you're the arbiters of what that definition means. Now, this is your service. You are allowed to do it as you want. This is not a First Amendment issue. I just think it's weird, backwards morals when you're like, well, we'll still allow other content that people might find questionable on our platform, but seeing video game violence happen, no, that's a big no-no. Can't have that happen. It's backwards to me.
Also, like, if a video I posted 10 years ago gets flagged, like, you got content creators that post multiple videos a day, if not multiple videos a week. Like, are you expecting them to go back through all of their videos and know exactly what was said or done at this particular point, and have you go in and you blur it or you trim it? Like, to go back and say, okay, your past videos are affected as well, that's also BS. Because when I posted this, it was perfectly fine. Now you come back 10 years later and say, oh, no, this is no longer okay. You got to go back and either remove the video or blur it out. That's bullshit. When it's... I was about to go down.
I
A path that
guess
I didn't
I
want to go
guess
down.
the bigger question is if they're more recent videos, I could see that being an issue. Older videos from years ago, maybe not as much of an issue. Now, some of the bigger content creators might be still making money off of videos from 9, 10, 12 years ago. I don't know. It's one of those things I look at and go, retroactively making something is kind of cringy.
It depends on how far they go back and how strict they're going to be with this. That's the real
Well, it's going to
question
be
that's in the
AI
air.
running it.
You don't think humans are going to be behind making these decisions?
No. They can't use human interaction when it comes to as much content as they have to police.
Okay.
All right. Next article. You know how Nintendo's been suing Pocket Pair for Palworld? Well, finally, Japanese patent courts kind of came back and said, maybe your patent isn't as strong as you initially thought. And this isn't final. This is just, one more layer to it. But Japan Patent Office rejects Nintendo application relevant to Palworld dispute, cites games like Ark as prior art after third-party submission. So what that generally is saying is Nintendo was out there going, well, listen, hey, Pocket Pair made this game that involves monster capturing where you weaken the monster and then you throw something to capture it. Well, the patent office said, well, Ark did this. What's your issue? Because in the game Ark, which is a survival type game, you can use like an arrow that weakens a monster and makes it able to be tamed. But they also included games like Capcom's Monster Hunter, Pocket Pair's Craftopia, and a Japanese browser game called Kantai Collection. And, of course, Pokemon Go. But the point being here is it's not as cut and dry that Nintendo's going to win this. So, I don't know, Alex, I remember us talking about this, but I forgot what your opinion on this whole thing was.
So Matt, give me how does this affect? Because I was trying to follow along, and I'm just like, what? So Nintendo's initial gripe is what?
That Palworld infringes on the copyrights and patents Nintendo has for the Pokemon company.
And it wasn't just because there are some Pokemon or some pals in Palworld that look there's like a Lucario looking one. There are some that are very close to Pokemon themselves.
That's got to be Nintendo's issue is the fact that they look so close
but it
to
is
actual
not.
Pokemon.
It is not tricky. It is the capturing
You can't put
mechanic.
a gun on the back of. You cannot put a gun on the back of Pikachu, call it something else, and be like, "Oh, we're not copyrighted."
It's not Pikachu. Tricky, I'm sorry. You're taking this way out of left field. This specific case is dealing with Nintendo's patent infringement litigation on monster capturing capabilities.
I got that. What I'm saying is I think Nintendo's going after them because the game is too close and this is what they have to fight with. I'm saying Nintendo's going after them because the game is too similar, but this is what they have to fight with, so this is the reason why they're bringing the lawsuit. I'm saying that's what I'm saying.
That's not how lawsuits work, Tricky. Alex, back to you.
So basically, what they were saying is that another game, like we said, Monster World or Monster Hunter, used the kind of same technology before Nintendo ever thought of Pokemon, and that is basically giving.
No, what they're saying is you didn't bring this lawsuit against these companies which have similar mechanics or things similar to your patent. Why? So basically, why are you coming after Pocket Pair now?
That's what I was saying.
Okay, so they're going after a specific game, and there are other examples previously to this game, and the judge is like, well, you didn't have a problem with it before. Why do you have a problem with it now? Okay, I got you.
And that's what I was trying to say is that the reason they're going after this one is because it's so similar to their actual characters. That's what I was saying.
But also, it's a smaller company that Nintendo can kind of bully. It's hard to kind of bully Capcom.
Absolutely. But that was the point I was trying to make is the reason they're going after Palworld is because it's so similar to the actual character designs. that's my opinion of why they're going after Palworld and didn't go after the other companies. That's what I was saying.
Or maybe it's that they figured that they would have more of a fight against some of these other companies, and they figured that Pocket Pair would just fold in court if they got the cease and desist, or they got a into a lawsuit with Nintendo, and they thought maybe it'd just be an easy win. And apparently it's not going to be.
Okay. Alex? Or no, I'm sorry. Alex, we just finished with you. Yield?
Not really into the whole Pokemon thing, so I could kind of just let them fight it out and do their thing. I do find it funny that the way that their court argument was that it kudos to the judge for going, well, these games do the exact same thing and you don't have a problem with them. So,
well, I'm assuming Palworld collected those and then gave that to the judge or used that as evidence and said, "Hey, this is part of our argument." I'm not going to assume the judge that and who knows, I could be wrong, that he or she knows in depth about video game systems and all that. But I mean, I would hope if Nintendo has a Pokemon design that is copyrighted, I don't know how much, if just a simple tweak to the design and a name change will be enough. But I would figure if Nintendo really wanted to go after some of those characters and kind of shut down the game or have them removed, they could just say, "Hey, look at this character we created this many years ago, trademarked. It's our intellectual property, and this infringes upon it. It's too close." Because, I mean, if you do infringe, or you don't have to have an exact duplicate copy, if it's close enough to a trademark, they will, tell you to nix that. So if it were simply about the designs, I would think that Nintendo could take that to court and win easily.
Okay. Tricky.
Because that's another thing. Like, if they're like, "Hey, this Pokemon looks too close to Pikachu or Charizard or Alakazam or Lucario," like, it's not like there's another, like, the judge couldn't be like, "Oh, well, hey, Monster World has their own Alakazam, so, what are you doing here?" No, it'd be specifically based on Palworld, and that would kind of kill any kind of resistance that there would be, like we're seeing now.
Okay. Tricky, anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I got a little bit of a hot take with this, because I kind of felt like this when the game first came out, and I kind of felt like Nintendo was going to sue them then. But my hot take is maybe Nintendo's going after Pocket Pair because they figured, like Alex said, they could take them down easily, possibly take over the company, and then use the designs for future Pokemon games.
That is a hot take.
I thought Matt was going to hit you with that's certainly a take.
I mean, do you guys think I'm far off?
Yes.
Or? I don't think Nintendo wants to absorb anyone. I don't think they want to take it over and have their own designs. They do okay with the designs of new Pokemon, even after all these generations. So
yeah, but aren't they constantly evolving Pokemon and making them different and having different evolutions for them?
Yes, but I don't see them taking another game's design and using that in a way that complements their current Pokemon lineage.
Okay.
All right. Final article before we move on to listener questions. Basically coming from Windows Central, which, I'll be the first one to call it out on biased reporting. Just saying that Microsoft's ambitious new Xbox, your entire Xbox console library, the full power of Windows PC gaming, and no multiplayer paywall. The long story short is that they're talking about Microsoft is still in the progress of developing their next platform, that they're looking at like an Xbox Play Anywhere type of scenario where you'll be able to play all of your content on one device. And potentially meaning that there won't be a paywall for multiplayer games. I'm not sure how that's going to work, given that, Game Pass and Xbox going all the way back to Xbox Gold was kind of the thing. If you just pay for the game as opposed to using Game Pass, just being able to play multiplayer with other people without any sort of paywall would be a nice thing. Something you all would enjoy that us PC players have been enjoying for years. So I don't know, Tricky, what do you think about this potential decision for Xbox's future?
Okay, I got a couple questions I need to ask you before
Well, hold
I
on.
go into this.
I also have a question, but if Tricky wants to, it's more about paying for online to play multiplayer.
Well, okay, let me ask my questions, and then maybe yours gets answered in the process. Let's say Gears of War is the E-Day is released, on the PC. When you buy it on PC, does it go through some kind of Xbox or Microsoft launcher, or can you buy it like on Steam?
So I bought mine on Steam. It launches through Steam, and then it just asks you to log into your Microsoft account.
Okay, so if you were to do multiplayer on a Microsoft game, are you paying to play with your friends then?
No, because I don't pay to play with my friends now when it comes to me buying something on Steam.
So the question remains is, isn't this already existing in current Xbox ecosystem? The fact that you could buy an Xbox game on the PC and not have to pay through a paywall to play with your friends, doesn't this exist already?
Yes. But
So
now it would just be on console because you still have to pay for online multiplayer if you're on the console.
right, but they're saying that this new Xbox is basically going to be a Windows PC, and they're going to eliminate the paywall, which is what's happening right now. If the, I guess the point I'm trying to make is that this new console is basically not even a console anymore. It's just a straight PC, which if people are buying, there's no reason to buy it because people will just go out and buy a PC and be able to play their games like that.
Except that it does talk about you're going to have access to your console games.
Okay. I think my words are getting...
No, it's not. It's just, it's going to be a fancy PC that will also play your console versions of your game. So if it wasn't available on PC, it'll be available through some launcher or something on this new device, whatever it ends up being.
Okay, so my question then becomes, why would I buy this console rather than buy just another PC? Is it because of the access to the console games?
Supposedly, I don't know how it's going to look. Obviously, we're still a ways away, but to my understanding, I wouldn't be able to right now load up a version of, or I should say legally, Xbox that will play my console games on my PC.
Okay. Alex, did I answer your question in the process?
No, not at all.
Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So, I mean, we always talk about how we have to have PlayStation Plus to play certain games, but if a game is free to play, you don't need PlayStation Plus to play, like, say, Fortnite or Rocket League. You can, since they're free to play, I believe you can just play those without paying a subscription fee. Now, Helldivers...
You cannot.
Huh?
You cannot. You need PlayStation Plus.
Are you sure? Because I've definitely heard you could play Fortnite because it's free to play without any kind of subscription.
That is correct.
So
You can
Tricky's wrong.
absolutely play. There are very specific games that you can play without having a PlayStation Plus. They're not many, but they are there.
Okay. Yeah, that was my question. Because I thought about it, I was like, wait a minute, I've been saying all this time I couldn't play Rocket League without PlayStation Plus, and chances are I could, or there's a chance I could.
think Rocket League is the other one that you can play without Plus, but I might be wrong on that.
Well, funny enough, they're both owned by Epic, and Fortnite and Rocket League both talk to each other, as in you could buy something in Rocket League and it'll tell you if you could use it in Fortnite, so chances are it's, probably on the list.
Yeah.
Okay, I just Googled it, and I am wrong. Both Rocket League and Fortnite do not have a multiplayer paywall.
Okay. Anything else, Alex, or were you just your question?
No, that was just my question.
Okay. Yield, still not going to make a Microsoft account, right?
Correct.
Anything else you want to add to the conversation?
I have one. It was my Skype account, and they won't let me use it. So, yeah, not making one.
Big oof. And for me, it doesn't change me very much. Like Tricky said, my PC can run most of the games. And for the most part, any new games that they come out with are going to be on PC, as well as the ability to... I still have my old console, so I can still play my old console games if I wanted. Oh well. Tricky, back to you for listener questions.
All right. I'm gonna play the sound because you didn't patch it into the show last week.
Time to check my social media, yeah.
I didn't patch
So
it into
we
the
have-
show because I didn't go hunting for it.
It's in the folder.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
We got 3 questions. One coming from Alex Gonzalez. What do you think of the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection? We'll go to Yield first.
I don't play Mortal Kombat.
Okay. Alex?
Has it even been released yet? I mean, I saw the initial.
It is out.
Okay, I haven't played it, so I used to play Mortal Kombat. I owned the games up until 3, and then after that, I kind of got lost a little bit. Played Deadly Alliance at a friend's house, bought Deception. Well, actually, I owned the Mortal Kombat trilogy on the original PlayStation, which had all the characters on it. So I've owned a few here and there, but the last one I ever bought was Deception, and played the newer ones here and there at like conventions and stuff when they had it playable. But yeah, I haven't played it all. Me personally, there's no real reason. Like, I've got no one to play with. I don't want to play online. And a lot of my love for Mortal Kombat in those games kind of died out in the 90s. So it's kind of one of those games where it had a very specific point in my life where I would play them and a very specific impact, but it's just kind of not there for me anymore.
All right. And Matt?
I like the idea. Unfortunately, it seems to be getting bombed on Steam due to, at least online, there's input lag that is causing a lot of people to have problems. So maybe I'll see how it comes in a couple patches, but I like the idea. I'd like having all my Mortal Kombats in one place.
All right, just for the record, it does include Mortal Kombat 1, 2, 3, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, Mortal Kombat Trilogy, Mortal Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero, Mortal Kombat 4, Mortal Kombat Special Forces, Mortal Kombat Advance, Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, and Mortal Kombat Tournament Edition. And it does have different versions of the game, like the arcade, the Super Nintendo, Genesis, Game Boy, Game Gear, the 32X, the PS1, and the Game Boy Advance versions of the games. But not all the games are available in all the different versions.
Yeah, I mean, game-wise, it seems like a nice collection. One, you're missing Deception, which is better than Deadly Alliance. And this was a very missed opportunity. I mean, you got Sub-Zero Mythologies in there, but can we get Shaolin Monks? I mean, I've never played Shaolin Monks, but it's kind of one of the few ones I've wanted to go back and play and just try out. But
I think there's going to be a second Legacy collection.
Oh, okay. Well, if Deception's in there, who knows? Maybe I might get a little crazy, but it honestly seems like I would go back for nostalgia's sake and like try to do a couple fatalities or like animalities and just be like, okay, I'm done with this after a half an hour.
What about babalities?
Are you gonna ask me about friendships too, Matt? Are we gonna bring up the fucking friendships?
Yeah, why not?
I don't want to do that shit. I want to kill people as a shark. Wasn't Cyrax a shark in his animality in number 3? I think that's what happened. But I mean, it's
the
nice.
Trophies don't look too bad.
Huh?
The trophies don't look too bad.
I mean, as long as there's not like play a million games online. But to be fair, like it seems like the Mortal Kombat trophies are always bullshit. Like there's always like some grind or some terribly stupid thing you got to do.
I don't think I could be wrong with this. I don't think there's an online multiplayer part of this game.
Yeah, there is. He was just talking
There
about
is.
online lag.
Well, dead air.
Okay.
Love it.
No. I'm looking because I'm looking on Wikipedia. It does say multiplayer, but you know that could be couch co-op.
Because that's your source for all internet news.
I was just it explains. Does Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection
Are you really going to type this in? We've already talked about it.
have online?
He's trying to prove he's right.
I'm trying to answer the question. It does say it does have an online multiplayer with rollback netcode, which features were limited at launch, but still missing some key options like private lobbies. So That answers the question. But it does not show to have any multiplayer, online multiplayer trophies.
Well, that's nice.
So
But yeah, I just me playing fighting games, like I just don't. For me, it's a real shallow experience because I don't learn the moves. I just kind of button mash and like find a move that works for me and just do that, or I get very like surface level with it. So I found that out in Soul Calibur. I realized all of that in Soul Calibur as I trudged through the arcade to unlock all the characters. I'm like, I don't really play fighting games the best way, so kind of killed it for me.
okay. Next question we have is coming from Will. Thoughts on GameTop's declaration that the console wars are over and dragging Trump into it? All right, so we're not going to talk about the Trump aspect, but how do you feel about Trump? GameStop declaring that the console wars are over. This was triggered with the announcement of Halo coming over to the PS5. Alex, we'll go to you first.
I mean, GameStop needs something to be relevant. These little clever. I mean, we've seen a lot of companies do this on Twitter where they do clever little tweets that someone humorous is behind these social media accounts. GameStop, like, they. I assume that they're going to stoke the fires of any news or try to jump and attach themselves to any news they can. Because again, we all know that GameStop as a company, they've had to switch their business model around to keep from becoming obsolete. Even though if you ask a lot of people, they're already obsolete. So yeah, I'm sure they're going to take jabs and punches and and make these little snarky jokes from the shadows because I mean they don't really have anything else. So, but are the console wars over? I mean, I don't know. Did the console wars ever truly die? Because was it the console makers that was the starters of the console war, or was it like the gamers who attached themselves to a console and a brand and went online and fought about it?
I think it was gamers. Yield.
I've said for years that the console wars have been over ever since everybody kind of went their own way. I mean, Nintendo's been going their own way for years. After once the Wii came out, they kind of have decided that, they were blazing their own trail. And then several years ago when Microsoft started to change their focus to more of a digital footprint, it was kind of at that point when Microsoft did that I was kind of like, yeah, the console wars are kind of over. And then it's even more so when you've got everything going to PC, Xbox is opening their stuff up to PlayStation, that it's the only real way the console wars stay going is people like Tricky and Daryl in our community that for no reason are stoking the fires of a console war that no one cares about anymore.
You don't care about it.
No, I don't care about it because I got to the point in my gaming life where I'm like, good, you've got a good exclusive, awesome. Do more to make me want to buy your console. And, the older I got and the older my friends got, nobody has just one console, kind of like you were when you were a kid, and that was the console you grew up with. Now you got your own income, you could buy the consoles and play the other stuff. So there wasn't the sense of I'm missing out, because if you made enough to make me want to buy your console and play it, you would. So, and then now that everything's kind of multi-platform, it's just what platform do you prefer to play on? So they're really, the only console wars, in my opinion, is from your diehards, the people who want to stoke the fire, or the industry that's still trying to go, my console's better than your console. That's just my opinion.
I think the console war exists, to your point, Yield, as far as like what system you want to play with, because people want to stay in their own ecosystem. Like, I'm just making an assumption, but you're not going to go out and buy the next Xbox because you're going to want to continue staying in the PlayStation ecosystem, because you're going to, this is where you earned your trophies. This is what you've invested in and all this other stuff. So I think in that aspect, the console wars are still a thing.
Are they a thing, though? Because I'm staying in my lane.
But
The only way that it would become a war would be if Xbox started doing things where I'm like, you know what? I don't want to be in this system anymore. I want to go over there because they're doing things that I can't play here.
Well, I think, okay, so just maybe, I may stumble with my words a little bit here, but I think you are still in the war. You just choose not to fight the other side. And that's where you're like, oh, the war's over because there's no more fight. What me and Daryl do is, I mean, we both do it for comedy effect and whatnot, but like when we said, you know, Game Pass can't be profitable, and then the news came out, it was just our chance to go, ha ha, I told you so. When Halo came to the PlayStation 5, it was our chance to go, ha ha, we told you this was happening. So in that aspect, like when I do that stuff, me personally, I'm not speaking for Daryl, when I do that stuff, I don't see it as I'm flaming the console war. I do it as for comedic effect.
I thought you were flaming the console war.
No, like I will talk shit about the Xbox all day long, but in reality, and I've said this many times on the show before, go play on whatever console you want to play on. You want to play on PC, you want to play on Xbox, you want to play on PlayStation, you want to play on Nintendo, go play where you want to play. But if you ask me personally, you know, which console should you buy if you were trying to get into the game world? Obviously, I have my opinions about what PlayStation can do, what Xbox can do, what Nintendo can do, what PC can do. I mean, hell, and I'm not trying to like throw a target at Matt. We're on a PlayStation show, and we have a guy that primarily plays on PC. So it's not about consoles or, you know, what avenue you play your video games on. At least to me, it's, you know, go play your games. But when we say like this is like, again, I'm gonna speak for me because I can't speak for Daryl. When I said Game Pass can't be profitable, and everybody was like, "Oh, you're out of your mind. Microsoft knows what the hell they're doing." Blah 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 blah. And then the news comes out, and I just sit back and go, "I told you so." Like, there's no way this is profitable because they look at the changes they had to make to get back to that point. So, to me, it's more of a comedic effect. I'm not actually hating on anybody for playing on an Xbox, but you know, it is what it is. I'm sorry, Matt. I haven't gone to you yet for your opinions on all this.
I think the console wars was started and maintained by gamers. It's always people going, ha, mine can do this, yours can't. People wanting to feel secure in their investment, so to speak. For GameStop to come in and make this thing, I don't think it was ever meant to be taken seriously. And I know Will shared it in our chat and, you know, had his thoughts. I think it's just GameStop social media being stupid, doing what they're going to do. So again, it's just gamers being gamers, doing what they're doing to fan the flames of the console war, which has been dead for years.
All right. Anybody else have any more comments on this before we go to our last question? I'm going to take that silence as a no. All right, last question comes from Thomas. Says, what? Thomas, I hate when you do voice chat. What is the appropriate age for cutting off trick-or-treaters? He says 13 is the right age. At what age should you not be trick-or-treating anymore? We'll go to Matt first.
I wouldn't cut off trick-or-treating.
All right, Alex?
I mean, I feel like it can go into like a group of friends and I, you know, still in like early years of high school. I think we went around the neighborhood once, but I mean, if there's adults out there, you know, maybe some of the people in our neighborhood have had like treats for kids, like candy, and other people had like treats for adults, like a little small bottle of like an alcoholic beverage. It was like take a shot. For the most part, like anyone in the kid range, I think you're fine. Like, I don't want to take away Halloween from somebody who just wants to enjoy it. Now, once you get to be an adult, it becomes more about dressing up, going to parties, stuff like that. The whole, like, spirit of the season, decorating, stuff like that. But if a 40-year-old man is coming to my door, like, dressed up in a shitty costume, I'd be like, man, really? Are you going to going to be doing this? Although I'd probably just like, all right, just here's some candy, get away from us. Get away from my lawn. Not to be one of the get off my lawn guys. But yeah, I mean, anyone who's of a kid's age, I don't think you cut that off. Like, I feel like people naturally, for the sake of feeling like they're too old for it, like just kind of stop trick-or-treating on their own. Like, I really don't feel like there's anybody who is out there trick-or-treating that shouldn't be. So I feel like people just naturally stop trick-or-treating once they feel too old. Like, they feel like it's baby stuff.
All right, yield.
One, I don't pass out candy, so I kind of really don't care. But
What?
if it is kind of silly for an adult, but if you want to go and be silly, then go do it. I mean, to me, it's no different than when you take your newborn baby to go trick-or-treating just to get them candy. You think the baby's eating the candy? No, the adults are. So,
I mean, that's a fair point.
I mean, come on. So, yeah, it seems ridiculous, but at the same time, if you want to be ridiculous, you go be you.
Yeah, I don't know if there's an appropriate age to cut them off. I mean, you're only as young, you're only as old as you feel, and if you feel like you want to go out and you want to trick or treat and have some fun, who's to say that you can't go do that? I do think like at some point, kind of like to Alex's point, like at some point you should just stop doing it, because if I walked up to Alex's door and my costume and Alex kind of give me an attitude, I'd feel shitty in a way, but who's Alex to judge me? Not calling you out, Alex. I'm just saying.
I mean, like I said, we generally hand out candy every year. We didn't this year because it's night I had to work and Ashley was out of town. But the people who come trick or treat and get candy are children. They're not adults. They're not like high school seniors or college kids. So, like I said, people generally self-regulate this kind of thing. And I honestly feel like if you're a parent, I feel like kids stop trick-or-treating before the parents are ready, because parents, always have an issue with their kids growing up too fast. And I feel like, kids stop trick-or-treating before, too long.
Sweet Mama D did that to me. I wanted to go trick-or-treating one year. She's like, no, I'm too old. I'm like, oh, now I feel bad. All right. That's it for our questions.
Toe. Topic of the week. Well, fine then. Fuck you, Matt. God damn it, you took off too much time.
I didn't take off anything. It's been the same for the last month.
I think he's just going to say that every time, Tricky. Because it gets a rise out of you.
Alex, how much time do you want me to put back in?
I want you to get to the topic of the week.
I'm not the one doing the topic of the week. That's Matt over there.
Alrighty. So, how much you guys like Helldivers 2?
Sucks.
I mean, I've enjoyed it.
Well,
Game sucks.
Well, maybe if you were actually...
Listen, you undemocratic citizen.
I had a bad experience where I was playing with my homeboys, and they killed me because I asked a question.
Let's just call Tricky what he is. He's an automaton. And the problem with that is, unfortunately, when you leave things to being run by machines, sometimes things take a turn for the worse. And Arrowhead's been feeling this recently, as reported by frvr.com, as well as Games Radar. Basically, the gist of this is that the Helldivers 2 developers have been focusing so much on content, and they've been pushing so many updates and new changes that the game has ballooned in size. Currently on the PC, it is 134 gigabytes. And they're considering dropping hard disk drive support to kill the game's PC file size. However, on top of that, it just seems with every update that they're doing content, there are other game-breaking bugs that are appearing, whether it's crashing, whether it's performance issues. And what happened is the game director actually came out and was like, yeah, I know, we've been focusing a lot on content, and unfortunately, I think we've ballooned to a point where we can't keep pushing out content until we get these bug fixes taken care of. because it's starting to drive people away. Every time I see a patch, I see comments in the Reddit threads being like, great, let me know when the game's fixed and I'll come back. So, I mean, I think them having a steady drip of content is helpful to keep players engaged. But if they're breaking stuff and the game becomes an unmanageable size, look at Call of Duty and the size of Warzone that was, nearly like, I think it was like 500 gigs at one point for all the content. And players are turned off by that because they want to make sure they have space to run other games as well. You're not their only passion. Sorry to say. So I don't know. Alex, do you feel like Helldivers maybe needs to get back to basics?
Well, this is something I mentioned before about seeing complaints from the community about the file size on PC. They have let some underlying issues linger for too long that has allowed this to kind of happen. They were constantly pushing out war bonds, more guns, more cosmetics, stuff like that. And I get it. You want to keep people engaged, like Matt said. Like I'm capped out on war bond medals, 250. There's absolutely no fucking reason for me to play the game because they haven't released a new war bond yet, which they shouldn't have because they need to focus on bug fixes. So I applaud them for that. But I can't play the game. I can't anymore earn any more war bond medals, so I'm not gonna play the game. But the engine, as I think I've mentioned before, I've read, is kind of outdated, and there's issues with the engine they used, which I think is called the Stingray, and just some of these bugs were never fixed. And pushing out the content and letting things fester has only led to the situation we're in now, where they're trying to figure these things out on the fly. And at the expense of that is war bonds. We're not getting as many war bonds. So instead of putting more time in between the war bonds previously, there's now a giant gap between the one we got in September, early September, the Dust Devils, and whatever they're doing next, which I think is some kind of redacted war bond or something like that. Haven't seen anything, but I've read. I've seen online that that's what I believe it is. So, yeah, I think that they got to fix the bugs, but they themselves, I think, allowed this to happen. Arrowhead being them. So I can't say I feel sorry for them, but I mean, if they fix all these bugs and they put out more content, I'll be back playing the game. Problem is there's more games coming out. People find new communities. People find new multiplayer games. How many people do you lose forever in the process of this? And like I said, it's kind of all on their shoulders because they allowed this to happen, but at least they're trying to fix things instead of just pushing out more and more content.
Okay. Yield?
I've noticed, probably over the last few weeks that there have been some more hiccups. Depending on which one of my friends or myself hosts the game, so to speak, who's the leader. We've run into some issues where it got really hiccupy, and we were waiting for the game to crash. I haven't experienced any crashes, but my one buddy, his has crashed on him, multiple times while we've been playing. Just all of a sudden, just disappears off the map, and then he comes back and my game crashed. So, it's a fine line of balancing content with making sure the game still runs good, and it kind of feels like they got caught up in the whirlwind of everybody loved the game and everybody wanted more, so they wanted to keep people engaged. So here's all the stuff, and they fixed what they needed to initially, but then just kind of kept, this was our plan for, war bond releases, so here you go, here you go, here you go. And then the whole, I'm sure behind the scenes they had the Xbox thing planned. And now all of a sudden it's a big issue now that they've got to get it ironed out to move forward. And they should, because, if you don't get it ironed out, it's going to die. And online only, with no single player aspect, you kind of need us. So I hope they get it fixed. I still enjoy playing it.
Tricky, despite your lack of enthusiasm surrounding the democracy, what do you think about the fact that maybe their success spiraled out of control?
Uh, I guess I have a lot of hot takes this week. I mean, this is what happens when you prioritize profits over the game. I mean, they were pushing out war bonds. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it was like every month or every other month they were pushing out a war bond.
For a while there, it felt like it was once a month to once every other month. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously, you got to make DLC for, you know, to make some money in a game that's not, you know, on a subscription service. Th- this is clearly just a problem of they were prioritizing profits over actually fixing the game, and now they're having to backtrack and say we got to fix our game. Um, I, you could probably speak to more about this, Matt, than I can, but is dropping the HED support, is that really a big deal when it comes to PC gamers?
It can be because, believe it or not, there's still a large amount of people out there that have games on hard disk drives. I mean, I have a hard disk drive in my rig for storage mostly, but there are sometimes that I put a game over to it because I don't feel like having it downloaded again. Maybe I want it on cold standby. And with what they have to do, because they have to support both solid state drives and as well as hard disk drives, there's ways of creating efficiencies around texture loadings and loading the game that they have to take hard disk drives into account. Unfortunately, what's going to end up happening is you're going to have people who will no longer be able to play the game because they don't have solid state drives in their rigs. It's a rarity, but it's still there. And then they're going to have to face the backlash of being like, you just basically took my game away from me. You're forcing me to do something that maybe I wasn't ready to do. So it's not a decision that they can make lightly.
What about, I mean, M2 drives now are pretty standard in computers now, right?
Yes, but again, it doesn't mean that they have to strictly go with an M2 drive. They could go with a solid state drive, like a regular SATA drive. So it's not
Right.
uncalled for. And frankly, I hate saying it this way, but if you're an updated gamer, you shouldn't be gaming off of hard disk drives anyway. It takes so freaking long to load, especially with the mass amount of data that's being pushed out there. So it's just one of those things like I understand where they're coming from, and I don't envy their position trying to balance what they need to do to keep the game at a manageable install size.
Yeah. But going back, this, like I said, this is just a product of them putting profits over the stability of their game. I'm sure part of this was, when they launched it on the 5, they definitely had plans to launch it on Xbox, and they were using this money to fund that development and whatnot. They got to go back and they got to make it right for the gamers, especially for the people that have been supporting them. You got the people that, uh, I'm not calling you guys out, but I don't think any of you guys have actually paid for a war bond. You've just gone through the game and earned the super credits to earn everyone, right? You haven't paid Arrowhead any money
For the
past
most
the
part,
initial
I
purchase.
used some rewards from the Sony Stars program to pay for 2 of them, I think. But I haven't used my actual money. No money came out of my account to do it. It was all based on me earning points and money through PlayStation Stars.
And yield the same thing.
Technically, you could say that I paid for the first war bond because I bought the Super Citizen
Deluxe.
Edition. I bought the Super Citizen Edition, which gave you, I think it was a 1,000 or 1,500 super credits to start. Plus, you already had the Steel Veterans one unlocked. So, from that point on, no, I have not. Because, like for this Halo one, I purchased Dust Devil first, and then had to grind out 1,500 super credits to unlock the Halo one.
All right. What about you, Matt?
Yeah, I spent a little money.
Okay. I mean that's just my opinion. Is that they, like I said, they prioritize profits over development and bug fixes and stuff like that.
In all fairness, they did make it very easy to get into the war bonds. Like, farming super credits isn't hard. So I think more it's
No, you can
they-
get that on level 1.
they prioritized getting content out there above fixing things on the back end. I think that's really what kind of the same thought, Tricky, but I don't think it was more about profits as much as about the engagement with the game.
I mean, I'm not into the game like you guys are, but I would think that if they released a war bond every 2 to 3 months, you guys would be perfectly fine with that. You go in, you grind out, you get your super credits, and then
it depends on what's in the war bond. Because
has there been a war bond where you guys are like, oh, I have to have this weapon, or I maybe I wasn't on the show, maybe I heard it on the show, but I think one of you guys said you grind out to get a weapon in one of the war bonds, and it turned out to be shit.
Well, that happens. There's at least with me. So I picked Dust. We'll take this latest one. I took Dust Devil over the Halo one. I had, I don't know, let's say 1,200 super credits. So I was 300 away from Halo, and I wanted to try out a couple of the Halo guns. You know, the stat wise they look the same as what we already had, but okay, cool, a shotgun, an assault rifle, submachine gun. I would like to give those a try. The Dust Devil one had more weapons that I would probably use on a normal drop than I would the Halo, so I went with that one first, and that I'm glad that I've picked that one because I've enjoyed those weapons that I've used. But a lot of times it's personal preference per se. Like you'll go through a war bond and you'll get the weapon and you'll try it, and it may stick with you. It may not stick with you. You know, I've come to go with the cookout shotgun, not only because it's a fire shotgun, but it's a stun shotgun. Or a stagger shotgun. And that works great for my playstyle and certain enemies, so that way I can be a support to my other teammates who are running different weapons, like when stalkers come around. So it's more, I feel it's more player specific per se, but I like to try them because maybe I will like this weapon now better than the one I'm rocking. If that explains it.
All right. Matt?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Just, I actually forgot how I phrased the question. The war bonds, like, have you ever grinded out for a war bond to get a certain weapon and it just, like, this weapon's shit?
Yeah, most war bonds don't have things I'm interested in, so it is what it is. But, again, them making it as easy as it is to get war bonds through in-game grinding for super credits I don't feel like I've wasted time or money on this game.
Do you think
I agree,
that Arrowhead
I agree with that statement.
Do you think Arrowhead made a financial error in the fact that it's so easy to get super credits in the game that they're not able to, I don't want to say force people to buy war bonds, but kind of push people in that direction?
I think their priorities were a little skewed in thinking how much content they needed to push out to keep players engaged. I think they definitely needed to focus on performance because that will drive players away faster than lack of content.
All right.
Yeah, because you got to remember, there was still a bunch of people playing the original or not a bunch, but there were still people who played Helldivers up until the release of Helldivers 2. There may still be some people playing it. But Yield Guy's Platinum Trophy years after I got mine, so there's still a community there. So theoretically, even if you didn't put people enjoy the gameplay of Helldivers 2 that much to where you're not going to have 100,000 people playing all the time, but for years to come, you would probably have, as far as the Galactic War goes, you'd probably still have a good dedicated group of people playing. And for me personally, I'd actually rather see a more space in between war bonds because, look, I've poured hundreds of hours into the game already. Like, I don't want to sit here every month and have to be like, all right, well, I got to set aside time to do the war bond. No. I want to play other games too.
Yeah, because then it'll become like Rocket League.
Yeah, so just give me the one war bond every 2 or 3 months. Actually, 3 would be perfect. And then let me play other games in the meantime.
All right. No, that's my thoughts, Matt.
Okay. All right, well then, that's all we got for you tonight, folks. Tricky?
All right, let's close out the show with some shout-outs. Matt, we'll go to you first.
Shout out to you, gents, for recording tonight. Shout out to Our listeners for the listener question. Shout out to the Channel 3 community. Make sure to check out channel3.gg for gamified social media and some fun XP earning posting. And then shout out to my wife V.
All right, Yield.
Shout out to the Brain 76 and Prepare to Die or Scum for, like I said, those Helldiver games. Shout out to Tricky, Matt, and Alex for recording this evening. Shout out to V for everything she does behind the scenes. A twerp you to Taiwan. You guys don't know why. You can ask me after the show. And a shout out to all the pimps and mountains of the Whoredom. Thank you for downloading, listening, hanging out with us, playing games with us, throwing in some questions. Much appreciated. And yeah, we're gonna call that it for the end of October / 1st of November.
All right, and Alex.
Give a shout out to the listeners, the community, the fuel to the fire that is Trophy Horrors. Thank you all very much for continuing to support us, and we're going to need all that fire, all that fuel for the winter because it's getting cold here, and I'm not a fan. So, thank you all for your continued support. It means the world to us. Give a shout out to my co-hosts who all showed up tonight, Tricky, Matt, and Yield. And last but not least, give a shout out to my awesome and loving girlfriend, Ashley. I love you, hon. And that is it. We didn't put out really any Halloween decorations, and I'm glad we didn't because now we don't have to put up any. Although I'm staring across the street in our cul-de-sac, and someone's already got their Christmas tree up.
I got lucky. I just put out a little inflatable pumpkin, and Saturday I took it down and put up my inflatable turkey for November and mowed the yard, and I feel like I got something accomplished that day. So that was the extent of my decorating.
My God.
The Christmas tree won't go up until Thanksgiving-ish. It depends on how busy my Thanksgiving weekend goes. It'll be that weekend, or if I'm really busy, then it might be the weekend before. But I try to wait till after Thanksgiving.
Christmas trees do not go up until Black Friday.
That's what I'm saying. The only time I've done it before Thanksgiving, I was super busy that weekend. And the weekend before I wasn't, so I did it then. 99% of the time, it's Friday or Saturday after Thanksgiving. You have to at least celebrate Thanksgiving first.
That's my point.
But some people are so Christmassy, you know what? If you at least wait till after, I would at least recommend maybe waiting till mid-November. But hey, if you love the holiday season that much, go spread your holiday cheer. Go be you.
I posted a picture on my Facebook today. It says the war on Christmas cannot end until Christmas stops its illegal occupation of November.
Well, that'll never happen unless you move Thanksgiving until like the end, like the 30th.
Shout out to you guys. Shout out to the listeners. Shout out to everybody that's going to come and join me on Extra Life. Please go do that. I am going to start streaming at 8 a.m. on Saturday and go until 9 a.m. on Sunday. Please check out the Extra Life page. It's tinyurl.com/TrickyMick2025. The numbers. And until next week, happy trophy hunting.
See ya.
Later.
The theme song is Venus by the band Even off their album Zenith. Permission granted by the band and 12 Stone Records. You can find them on Facebook by going to www.facebook.com/evenphilippines.